You're locked into Soho Radio, and I'm very excited to introduce my guest, Frances Lowen. In all the years I've known you and followed your music, we have not done this. So thank you.
I'm here.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in to Soho Radio. It's so nice to see you.
So nice to see you, as always.
As always. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to chat. We're going to play some of your tunes. How are things? You've just put out into the world Castaway, so you're sort of back into putting out singles and things after, well, we had the pandemic and breaks and, you know, stuff. So, yeah, where do we find you with this
Things
Castaway?
are good. It's really, really nice to release music again. It feels like, it felt like for ages, I always used to joke with my friends, and then it almost just wasn't a joke anymore that I just made music for hard drives, and I just had all of this music that just sat on hard drives for years, and everyone's like, what are you doing? But you know what it's like. The music industry is a wild place to navigate, and things don't go to plan. But now they're going to plan.
Yay! And you're back in the world
back
with
in the
new
world.
music. Yeah, it must feel a little bit like coming home. It's a bit, when you have had a bit of a break and you haven't been like releasing, it must feel weird because you've been in music for a long time, and you've been in various different Frances Lowen or Lion, you know, with a band, so like it's kind of, It's been a bit of a
journey.
A road journey.
But now this time, it just feels really good.
Yes.
Like I feel like a musician again. I've learnt so much in the last life.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I feel really authentic, and everything that I'm doing is because I want to do it, and it's nice.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Frances Lowen and how you got into music, and tell us the story of it.
So my dad, my mum and my family's just all very musical, or they're all performers. My dad's a comedian and just an entertainer, so we kind of and just played lots of pub gigs. So I kind of grew up in the world of lots of pub gigs, in which I started doing myself when I was like 14, and I would like finish school and then go to the pub and play music at the pub, and none of my friends were allowed, and I'd just be there and like working.
Would you get paid?
Yeah, honestly.
Or like 20 quid or something?
No,
more.
I swear to God, I'd earn more money then than I do now. Like they actually paid you. So
the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
When you're 14 playing in pubs.
Yeah, I know. And you just think you're like the richest person in the world. Like someone's giving you 60 quid and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So just did that, and then started writing my own music, and kind of was just finding my feet and what route I wanted to go down, because I started on a real like acoustic-y, that's kind of what I was obsessed with when I was younger, like lots of Joni Mitchell and Damien Rice, and lots of really sad, lovely acoustic music. And I always thought I'd go more down like the folky route. And then my older brother Sam, he was in a band, and I kind of just saw them with like electric guitars and pedals, and then this whole other world just got ignited. And when I discovered guitar pedals, I was like, wait, what? Like, you're telling me I can make this sound like that? Like, that's fun. And opens a whole other kettle of fish. Like, that was really inspiring. And then I was like, do you know what? As much as I love a stripped back song, I also love just like losing my mind on stage and like really rocking out, and having a band, and like getting a band together. That was mental, because I'd never ever been in a band. I'd never worked with a band. And then all of a sudden I was touring with a band, and it was like, hey, but it was great. But and that's kind of how it all started.
Because I had a little look this morning. I was like, I'll just look at some of your like performances online. There's like Reading and Leeds with Lion, which was the band kind of vibe. And it was amazing. It was so
that
cool.
Feels like forever.
It just feels like a lifetime ago. And I guess like as you grow up, as you evolve as a person and a human, then your music kind of ebbs and flows with that. But do you feel like the new tracks, Castaway and Home, which was 2021, and Misbehave, do you feel like they're sort of like an amalgamation, like, in a way, like a meeting in the middle of like the really rocky stuff and the...
Yeah, like with all of those three tracks, actually, I pretty much took everything back home, quite literally, and just made music with my brother in my parents' like spare room that we just absolutely took over. And they were like, what are you doing? You're way too old to both be here and just to be taking over the house. But that's what we just recorded together, and it felt really like intimate. And I mean, working with a sibling has its challenges, yes, but I feel like because you are related, you can be so honest with each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes it wouldn't necessarily go to plan, but that's siblings. And it was like, yeah, really lovely to take everything kind of back and just be like, because before I was anyone, the reason I kind of like got a little bit of attention was because for the music that I made with my brother at home, and he produced it and we wrote it together, and it just was a real like family kind of team. And then that changed for a while, and now it's like, right, back to the roots. This is where it all started, and this is where we feel more like, I certainly feel more comfortable making music when it's just a close little group.
Yeah, and with someone that you have absolute 100% trust in, because he's your brother.
Exactly.
So it's like you guys can just, like you said, be honest and like not sweat the small stuff, and just kind of write in your truest, most authentic form.
Yeah, and tell each other when it sounds rubbish as well, I think, like, and have no shame in that.
Who's the one who's the one that eventually just kind of like draws the hammer down and is like, no, it's done, stop. Which Probably Sam. Yeah.
Because I, along with like most musicians I know, when do you know that it's done? Like, and also you sit on something for long enough, then you're like, oh no, this is terrible now, I need to change everything. And actually you don't. You just need to put it out and let people hear it for the first time.
Yeah. And so all this like hard drive stuff, is that something that you've sort of actually just closed? Like, do you revisit that sort of period of music, or is it more like you're just writing now, you're in a new phase and you're writing this stuff, and there'll be like an album of,
So a lot of my music hard drives.
I asked that in such a weird way.
I understood what you meant, don't worry. That there are some things on there that I think that one day I might revisit, but I always find I write certainly about whatever's going on at that time. And like sometimes if you don't release music within a certain amount of time, it's almost like that chapter's been and gone, and
the moment
I moved on to the next stuff. I've written a whole other chapter of my life that I don't want to go back and release that stuff because it's not relevant to how I'm feeling now. But maybe one day it would be nice to go back. And I always wonder how many songs of like artists and writers are like just sat there, and they could be like the best songs ever made, and we just won't ever know about it. It's
lurking on the hard drives. I remember when I had Julia Sophie, and who you know her as well, and she was just like, this album could have just been on the hard drive forever. And luckily Bada Bing Records in New York were like, hey, we want to put this out, otherwise it would have literally never seen the light, and it was such an incredible record. So but it's good that you're like feeling creatively excited and inspired, and the songs sound really great. And let's talk and play one. So let's start with Castaway, which is the newest release, which you just put out this month. Or last month, end of last month.
In the last 2 weeks. What day it is anymore.
2 weeks ago, something like that. So tell me about Castaway. Like, what was this track? What does it mean to you, or how did it come together?
So Castaway was actually written quite a long time ago in lockdown, and it was when I think it might have been like the second lockdown, where everything just felt like so uncertain. Like no one really knew what was going on. We'd had this like the first time round, it was all a bit like, whoa, like this is new and crazy. The second lockdown, everyone's like, wait, what is happening? Like, it feels like the rug is just being ripped from under you. And, you know, with especially not kind of choosing a creative path of life, that whole world, as you would know, just disappeared. It was like, hold on a second, I had 2 record labels I was signed to, and now I have none. I had an album, I don't have it anymore. Like, everything just kind of went, and we were like, what is the point? Like, what are we doing this for? And then we kind of started writing, and it was all a bit tongue-in-cheek at the beginning, because we were like, it's like the grass is always greener in the distance somewhere. Like, where is this place that like we are kind of dreaming about? And then it kind of turned into a song that was like, nah, we're gonna get up and we're gonna do it. Like, let's go. Like, let's just dedicate ourselves to this. And it's a bit one of them.
Bit one of them.
Bit one of them.
All right, well, let's hear it. So this is Francis Lion and Castaway, and we'll chat more after this. So that's it, Castaway, giving us the resolve to keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
That sounds so great. I love
Thank
it.
you.
And the melody of it's gorgeous.
Thank
and your
you.
voice. When did you realise little Beth back in the day? Little Francis. No, Beth. Well, Beth's your
Beth,
birth name,
really,
isn't it?
yeah.
But little Beth back in the day, when did you realise you could sing and you had this gorgeous, husky, beautiful voice?
When I was really young, I, like a lot of young girls, did like a musical theatre thing on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And which I loved.
Yeah.
Until I realised that I definitely didn't want to be in musical theatre.
Yeah.
And that my voice just like was not the same as like the other kids. Like,
did you have to do all the boy parts?
always
That
the
was like
boy
me.
part. In the choir at school, I remember like everyone having to sit down when they couldn't sing any lower to like choose where everyone went. And I just kept going. They were like, who's this 10-year-old girl that has got like a voice like a 40-year-old man? And yeah, and then I remember, like, I always had a husk. Always.
Yeah, always. Yeah. It's just there.
Don't know where it came from. It just happened.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Glorious. And then, yeah, so in terms of, is there like, are you putting together an album? Are you trying to sort of get together more tracks? Or are you going to do like an EP?
There is.
Or what's the
So
plan?
there's an EP coming out next month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I've got like basically another one like ready to go. So I'm just going to straight away just go into the next one, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, but you've got to wait for this. I'm like, honestly, I've waited long enough. The hard drive songs are coming out.
Yeah.
So I've got another EP. And then I quite like the idea of releasing a few more. And then I really see both these EPs as an album. So I'd really like them to one day either maybe just be pressed as an album, so you can listen to them as one.
Put on a bit of vinyl would be nice. Yeah.
Which would be lovely.
Well, I think no one really knows the rules anymore, do they?
Are there
It's
any?
a bit like the Wild West, the music industry at the
Changes
moment.
every day.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you've, having been an artist, you've been signed to major labels, you've done it solo, you've done it independent. Like, what have you learned? Like, what have you learned about yourself and like the industry?
hell of a lot.
Are there any lessons that you've learned, or like things that
I've actually just learned to always follow my gut.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what anyone says, that the amount of time I just have like told my gut to be quiet, and just these people know what they're doing. Like, they run record labels and yada yada yada, when actually not everyone knows what's best for everyone. And I feel like there's a lot of noise around it, and if you don't stay really true to yourself, what's the point?
Yeah, ultimately, like your own intuition will tell you. It's really interesting. There's loads of nerve cells in the gut, which is why I think we have such gut. I've been listening to podcasts. This is podcast knowledge, second-hand or third-hand or fifth-hand or whatever.
That makes
there's
a lot
like
of sense.
The biggest amount of nerve cells outside of the brain is in the gut, apparently, which is why we have such like strong gut intuition.
Yeah.
And it's so like, for me, like my gut is absolutely the thing. If
My
something
gut's like
doesn't
a
feel
witch.
right,
Like,
then I know I have to listen to that.
And if
Yeah.
you don't, you're like, flipping it, should have listened to the gut.
Yeah.
The gut is 99.9% right, I'd say.
Just tap into
Don't
the
quote me on
gut.
that. I don't know if there's any scientific. But I'm going to say it's right.
Yeah, but kind of just trusting your own instincts on things.
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably really prevalent as well in the songwriting process now that you've kind of mentioned. Like,
Yeah.
do you sort of like, is it easier to just be like, yes, that feels good, we're on to something, carry on, finish this track kind of thing?
Sometimes
Sometimes.
I feel like I either finish a song straight away and I'm like, yes, or it doesn't go quite as smoothly as that. Yeah. Normally the songs I love the most are the ones that come out like, it's almost like your gut's writing them. It's like you're not even, they're just coming out.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I sit on something for too long, I just overthink everything. I mean, I'm an absolute professional overthinker anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's play another track. So we've got Misbehave. Yeah. This is like riffy and rocky.
Yeah.
Tell me about Misbehave.
Misbehave, also I wrote ages ago. Mm-hmm. It feels like ages ago. Misbehave actually all came about as a bit of a joke song when I started writing it. I was writing with my friend Will, and we're in this studio and he had like popped to the toilet and there was this really annoying air conditioner that was going doo doo doo, and I just literally played along with the aircon, and that's how the song started.
That's so cool.
Like it's that's just it. Like, it's not that deep. Yeah.
Did you record the aircon then, the unit?
And then the actual aircon does make an appearance in the song. There's like a little like doo, and that's when you turn it on and off, and that's in the song.
The like Aircool 5000 or whatever.
And that takes 50% of the writing splits as well. The aircon.
That's epic that literally something so random and mundane can form the basis of like the hook of a song. Love it.
That's literally it. The aircon.
Yeah. And then what about the lyrics?
So the chorus came around. Oh, maybe it didn't actually. I think the verse kind of came around. Again, it was a song that came together so fast.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was, we were just being a bit cheeky and joking around. And I think sometimes when you just don't take yourself too seriously, like that's when songs like that like appear, because you're not overthinking anything. You're being a bit silly and just I love it when you misbehave, and it's fun. And I think we've all got that kind of bad influence in our life, or we have had, that we know that we definitely shouldn't be hanging out with this person or being in a relationship with this person.
Yeah.
But the thrill of a naughty little person, like, how is that not fun? Like, you know when something's bad for you, but sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't quit it.
Figure it out for yourself.
Okay, well, let's play it. So this is Frances Lyon and Misbehave. So that's Misbehave. The artist is Frances Lyon, and she joins me in the studio this month on the show. And it's been so nice. It's been so nice to catch up and talk all about the music.
It's been lovely, Georgie. Thanks for having me.
So live plans.
I have got a show, finally. Yay! And I think I haven't even told anyone about it yet, so this is a first.
Yeah. Exclusivo.
It is at the Victoria in Dalston.
Awesome venue.
On the 28th of March.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And
that's it. There it is.
In London.
And then I'm going to in London, and then I think the next day, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed, but who knows? I'm in Bristol. Don't know where.
Fab.
Doing my big old massive 2-day tour. Get in.
On the road again.
On the road for 48 hours. Let's go.
Yeah, but I guess it's just kind of jumping back in, isn't it? Like, how long has it been since you've played a show? And what will this be? Will this just be you and guitar, or will it be with a band? Or
I am hoping it will be a band, but I don't think it's going to be like a full band, just because like it's the most unsustainable thing in the world. So, I mean, I have lovely friends that are like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, you say that now, but when I'm dragging you to like loads of rehearsals and then to London and Bristol, like you're going to want a bit of moolah. So we shall see. I reckon it might be me and 2 others, a drummer and a guitar, and we might have to use a bit of the old tracky tracks. Yeah. Which I've always been quite against, but do we have a choice? No. Is the answer.
Will people notice? Really?
No.
So, you know.
Will it make us sound really tight? Yes. It will.
Well, then that's the winning. That's the goal.
Exactly.
That sounds great. And the Victoria's a really nice room. That'll be really great.
It's a good venue. It's got like that perfect kind of old sticky venue as well as just being a vibe.
And hopefully by then as well, it'll be a little bit milder, maybe like, you know, some blossom in the trees, maybe a little outside pint before the gig.
Oh, what
in the garden.
Treat.
How nice would that be?
What a treat.
Okay, well, we're going to play Home because I've got, obviously I finished the show at 2, so we've got room for one more track. This was released in 2021. I loved this song. This was gorgeous. And this was kind of like a reintroduction to you, like after the pandemic and stuff.
And then just lasted for a few years until I released some more.
Yeah. But tell me about this, because this was inspired by your home. Is this referring to Ringwood in Bournemouth?
It is.
Yeah.
Ringwood.
Big up Ringwood.
Yeah, it's kind of about that. No, I think no matter how far away from your home you are, it's always such a huge part of your identity. And it's where your mates from school are, your family are. It's like the grounds in which you learnt to be.
Yeah.
It's about home. And funnily enough, I recorded it at home, at my parents' home.
Yeah. In the
and
spare
they're
room
also in it, in the spare room, and they're also in it. It was in the pandemic, and obviously couldn't get a lot of people, so everyone's doing backing vocals. It's the fam, which is really cheesy but really, really funny, and I didn't have any other choice.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll listen out for that. And there's also a really cool video as well of you're cycling, you're running and different...
Just around Ringwood, yeah.
You like following a car.
We had, it was totally illegal. Like everyone's just like strapped down in my old van that I had. And like
out
filming
the back.
Yeah. But it was in the kind of like the end of the pandemic when no one was really out.
Yeah.
So we got like empty roads. It was really lucky.
It looked really nice. And there's the sunset,
probably
sun going down.
Allowed to do it at all, but hey.
Oh, who cares? Ad hoc videoing.
Yeah.
Have you got any videos coming up? Are you going to make any more?
I'm going to have to get quite creative and do something.
Yeah.
But no, at the moment. But hopefully there will be.
Yeah. Well, Frances Lion, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And keep us posted with new releases as they come.
Do.
Keep them coming. All right, let's play it. This is Home. Thanks so much for listening, guys. I'll be back in 4 weeks' time.